It was a cool, crisp October morning, the first day of Balloon Fiesta. Albuquerque's clear blue skies were filling with hundreds of colorful hot air balloons.
As I lifted off this beautiful first morning of the Balloon Fiesta with three beautiful women, I experienced the adrenaline rush that I have always felt on the first day of Balloon Fiesta, and more importantly, sharing it with people who had never been up before. My spirits soared as I rose to 1,500 feet slowly. And then I felt it. Chest pains, waves of chest pains, pains that I have never experienced before. And still, I thought it was nothing. To be safe, I radioed my chase crew and I asked them to get close and stay underneath me. I didn't let anything on to my passengers that I was feeling any pain or anything of that nature. Suddenly, a bolt of pain ripped through my chest and my left arm became useless. And at that point, I realized things were not going to end well. I prayed to God, please don't let me kill anyone today. Help us land this safely. And then I started looking for a place to land. But unfortunately, at that moment, I was directly over Albuquerque's largest power distribution network on Paseo del Norte. I had no choice. We had to keep going. I was looking far ahead for open space and hoping I could make it. I saw Renaissance to the south. I quickly wrapped the red deflation line around my left arm, my useless left arm, as I struggled to avoid the power lines. And as I got closer to the ground and got over the power lines, just barely missing the high power lines, I got a left-hand turn. I got a major wind shift. And of all places, it took me to the Calvary Chapel parking lot. And then we hit a tree, and then bounced along the ground until we rested up against another larger tree. The balloon was down, my passengers were safe, I had nothing left. And that's all I remember.
As we pulled up and saw that, where he had landed and we were coming down the driveway, we saw that two of the passengers were out of the basket. We knew something was wrong because passengers are never allowed out of the basket until the crew gets there. My crew got out, jumped out, ran to the basket. Two of the guys helped get, lifted him out to our big guy, Mark. I pulled down the lift gate and they laid him on the lift gate. And my daughter had his head in her lap and was talking to him and stroking him and trying to make sure, they were all trying to make sure that he was alive. We somehow all managed to keep it all together. I could feel every fiber of my body shaking. And I hobbled, because I couldn't run then, I hobbled up to Jefferson to see what the address was as I was calling 911. And just as I was coming back to the basket, I see the ambulance come from this part of the parking lot to right to where they were at the truck. When the EMTs were asking me if he had any problems or allergies or anything, I told him about Doug's rare blood condition and that he couldn't have aspirin.
Doug was stabilized on a short transport to UNM by the paramedic team. He was conscious, but he had crushing chest pains, so he was immediately triaged. His ECG showed ST segment elevation in the anterior leads, confirming that he was having a heart attack involving the major front wall artery of the heart, called the LAD, or left anterior descending. Our cath team had already been activated and Doug was moved quickly to the cardiac cath lab. His LAD was completely blocked, requiring 2 stents.
I started the day in a big, beautiful balloon surrounded by hundreds of other big, beautiful balloons. And 90 minutes, less than 90 minutes from the time I felt my first chest pain, 3 tiny little balloons saved my life with an amazing team that got them in there.
Fortunately, Doug's story has a happy ending. He recognized the signs and symptoms of a heart attack and he took action. His passengers, his wife and crew, they stayed calm. They phoned 911 promptly and did not attempt to drive him to the hospital themselves. They made sure the ambulance crew could find them and share their concerns and details about Doug's blood disorder with the medical team immediately. The hospital systems of care functioned as designed. The ECG and cath lab activation at UNM was done promptly, ensuring that we were able to get Doug's artery opened rapidly. And this all happened within the goal time of Mission Lifeline. The goal of Mission Lifeline is to improve patient outcomes. And in our city of Albuquerque, all our community hospitals, physicians, and EMS providers have come together as one organization in order to get patients to the cath lab safely and effectively. And in Doug's case, this worked perfectly.
I will be forever eternally grateful to all of the EMTs and all of the hospitals that put Mission Lifeline into operation, into action to save countless lives. including mine.
Ever since Doug learned about his blood condition, I researched it. We changed our diet completely. We cook fresh, very few processed foods. He walks 3 miles a day. There were absolutely no warning signs at all that this could happen to him.
My heart attack was a big wake-up call. If it could happen to me, it could happen to anyone. Since my heart attack, Sylvia and I are much more knowledgeable about heart health and the warning signs, and that's thanks to the amazing information that the American Heart Association has made available to all of us. I am so glad to be flying again. To me, balloons are beautiful. The big ones and the little ones that save people's lives.